So a lot of people don't like to lease cars, and I totally get it. I was totally against leasing cars up until about 5 years ago when I learned that leasing cars can actually be much cheaper than buying or financing your cars. Now, to be clear, not every car makes sense to lease, but if factors like the residual value, the interest rate, and the incentives work in your favor, leasing can oftentimes make more sense than financing a car. So for those of you that are looking to possibly lease your next car, I'm hopeful that you'll get a lot of value from this video because I'm gonna go over 7 benefits of leasing a car that a lot of people don't tell you about. The first benefit of leasing a car is that you'll have a lower down payment and a lower monthly payment than financing a car. Now, according to NerdWallet, the average payment on a new car that's financed is $700 a month, and the average payment on a new car lease is $505 a month, which is a pretty significant difference. Now, the reason for leasing being cheaper is really quite simple. For example, let's say a car that you've been eyeing has an MSRP of $50,000. Now, if you were to finance this car, you'd probably end up financing about $55,000 after you factor in taxes. But if you were to lease the car, you're only financing the depreciation of the car, which, depending on the car's residual value, could only be about $20,000 to $25,000. So in one scenario, you're financing $55,000, and in the leasing scenario, you're financing $20,000 to $25,000. Now, if you're a bit confused, that's all right. I'll go into this in more detail in a few minutes. The second benefit of leasing a car is that you don't have to worry about the depreciation of the car, and this can actually work to your advantage. You see, when you lease a car, you are essentially paying for the depreciation of the car. And how this happens is every single car on the market today has a residual value. And the residual value is the manufacturer's way of estimating what a car is going to be worth at the end of its lease term. So if you lease a car with a $50,000 MSRP and a residual value of 60%, that means that the manufacturer is estimating that your leased car will retain 60% of its value. Or another way of looking at this is that your car will depreciate by 40%, which is $20,000 over the course of the lease. Now, the benefit of leasing is that if your car happens to depreciate 60% or even 70% over the course of the lease, you don't have to worry about it. You can simply return your leased car back to the dealer and walk away and not have to worry about taking that loss. The third benefit of leasing is the financial flexibility that it offers. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that at the end of your lease, you have the option to simply return the car and walk away. You can buy it, or you can lease another car. And the reason that you have financial flexibility is because you have all of the leverage. So let's say that at the end of your lease term, your leased car is worth more than its residual value. Well, if that's the case, then you can sell your leased car to a dealer for a profit, or you can take the equity that you have and put it towards a new lease, or you can buy your leased car and drive it around for as long as you'd like, 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you choose to do. What matters is that you had the option to make a good financial decision, and that's what I love about leasing. So let me tell you guys a story. In 2018, my wife and I leased a 2018 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. And in 2021, when the lease was up, we could have returned the car and walked away, or we had the option to buy the car for $29,000 as stated in the lease contract. And at the time, comparable cars to ours, 2018 Stelvios, were selling for nearly $40,000. So returning the car to the dealership didn't really make any sense at that point because all they would do is turn around and sell the car for $40,000. So what we decided to do was buy the car for $29,000, and we actually ended up driving it for another full year, and we still ended up selling it for $32,000 in April of last year. So that's what I mean when I say leasing offers financial flexibility. The fourth benefit of leasing a car is the tax advantages that leasing offers. For example, let's take our car with a $50,000 MSRP. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but if we were to buy a car with a $50,000 MSRP, we'd also end up paying taxes on that $50,000. And here in the city of Seattle, taxes are around 10%. So the amount that I'd finance is actually $55,000, not $50,000, assuming $0 down. Now, if I were to lease this car instead, all I would be paying taxes on is the depreciation. So if the car had a 60% residual value, that means that the car would depreciate $20,000 over the course of the lease. So instead of paying 10% tax on $50,000, I'd only be paying 10% tax on $20,000, which would save me roughly $3,000. And another cool thing about leasing is that you don't owe the taxes up front like you do when you're buying a car. Instead, you are taxed on your monthly payment. So if your monthly lease payment is $400, with taxes, your payment would be roughly $440. The fifth benefit of leasing is that you always have a car with the latest and greatest technology. Now, this is especially important for me because I really value having the latest safety features like collision avoidance systems, like automatic parallel parking, like radar cruise control and pedestrian detection systems, and having just other sensors and cameras around the car just to make sure that I or whoever is driving the car doesn't hit something or someone. For me, having these things not only gives me peace of mind, but in my opinion, they actually pay for themselves because they help you avoid accidents and they help you avoid the little stuff that can be expensive, like scraping your wheels or backing into a car or even scraping the side of the car when you're parking. And I'm just someone who generally likes having new tech, whether that's the latest iPhone or the latest MacBook Pro. Now, I know that these things aren't for everybody, but they are important for me when I'm considering a car. The sixth benefit of leasing a car is that you have reduced maintenance costs and you don't have any unexpected repair bills. I personally think that this is one of the most underrated advantages of leasing a car. Now, I know so many people that buy 3 to 6 year old luxury cars like older BMWs, Lexuses, Acuras, Range Rovers, Benzes, Audis, and paying for a new transmission or a new gas pump or even a new window motor on any car, let alone a luxury car, is really, really expensive. Now, you can easily spend thousands of dollars on the most minor repairs between parts and labor. The beauty of leasing a car is that every leased car is under the manufacturer's bumper-to-bumper warranty. That means if anything goes wrong with the car, it is covered by the manufacturer. So if I'm driving my car from, let's say, Seattle to Houston and my engine explodes while I'm driving through Las Vegas, all I have to do is call roadside service, which is also included in leased cars, and they will come and pick me up and my car up and they'll fix the problem and I won't have to pay a penny out of pocket. And the bumper-to-bumper warranty literally covers everything from a battery that goes bad to an infotainment screen that goes out or stops working. So the fact that you don't have to pay any money out of pocket and you don't have to set aside any money for repairs is one of the most underrated advantages of leasing a car. And it's also worth noting that some manufacturers will also throw in free maintenance over the course of your lease so that you can avoid having to pay for things like oil changes and any other maintenance service that your car may need. The seventh and final benefit of leasing is that it allows you to do more with your money. Let me explain. When you lease a car, you're going to have much more control over your monthly budget. Now, you might be someone who keeps a few $1,000s on standby just in case your car ever needs some unexpected repairs. Well, with leasing, you don't have to worry about that because your leased car will be under warranty, and this will allow you to free up some capital to invest in the stock market or an index fund or put towards something else that you value. Another way that leasing allows you to do more with your money is that with leasing, in most cases, you're not going to be making as big of a down payment and your monthly payments will be lower than if you were to buy the same car. Again, you can take this money that you saved and invest it or put it towards something that you value, like a private tutor for your kids or a vacation that you've been putting off. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this video. And if you did, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all next time.